Open access is a little bit like, it's not rocket science, it's more like raincoat science. What I've been saying since 1994 is equivalent to saying, boys and girls, it's raining outside, it's time to put on your raincoats. And what it's been ever since is, why put on your raincoats? Rain is good for you. It's illegal to put on raincoats. I don't know how to button my raincoat, all kinds of nonsense like that. If you don't provide open access, the only ones who have access to your article are those who are at an institution that can afford to subscribe to the journal in which it appeared. And we all know that most journals are unaffordable to most institutions. So that means that we're depriving ourselves of usage, impact, uptake, applications by not making it accessible to everybody. After all, we aren't publishing for money, we're publishing for uptake, for impact. What we're paying for is, in subscriptions, for example, is for the hard copy, the PDF online, distribution, all kinds of things that we don't need anymore in the online era. That can all be done by the institutional repositories. It's only the management of peer review that's needed at all. That's the status quo. That's paying for it. Green is a supplement to that. It says, in addition to giving the journal the right to sell it for as long as they like, you make your final refereed draft available online for free to everybody. That's green open access. Gold open access is when the publisher does it, and often for being paid extra money. Here in Southampton, Wendy Hall adopted a mandate, a requirement to deposit all published papers in the institutional repository, which we also created from ePrints, and which is now being used and imitated worldwide. A year later, the Select Committee in UK Parliament considered the possibility that the UK should adopt a policy, and they miraculously proposed the same thing that Wendy Hall had done in ECS, which is that green open access should be mandated for all institutions and all research funders in the UK. Everything was going on well. Europe was doing it, the US is doing it, and then suddenly the Finch Committee was assembled by BIS in 2012, and they came out with this astonishing recommendation that surprised everybody. They said green open access was rubbish. It wasn't working at all. It should be relegated to just archiving and preservation, maybe grey literature, and instead the UK should pay extra for gold open access. What they've said is, take an arbitrary inflated price from a journal and double pay them the subscription, and then pay extra for all of the UK gold. The UK has made a mistake in adopting the recommendations of the Finch Committee that we should be paying for gold open access instead of providing green open access. It can fix it extremely simply by mandating immediate deposit. Hold everything else in place if you like, but mandate that every article, whether green or gold, whether embargoed or unembargoed, is deposited immediately upon acceptance for publication in the author's institutional repository. If that's mandated, everything else will be fixed.